Hey guys, I'm Emma Ryan. I'm the owner and founder of Plant, and today for Plant's first ever YouTube video, we are making almond milk. There's a lot of reasons why I chose almond milk to be our very first video. Homemade almond milk is a huge part of what we do at Plant and what I think that you guys could be doing at home. And it's very, very simple. So I'm going to show you how. But before we go into that, I just want you to take a look. If you have non-dairy milk at your home, I want you to take a look at how many ingredients are on the side of that carton. Typically, there's a lot of names that you won't be able to pronounce, which is why we like to make it ourselves. Because this is an easy way to take out preservatives, take out all of those gore gums and things like that we don't really know what they do for our body. Probably nothing good. So today, like I said, we're gonna make house-made almond milk, and all you're gonna need is 2 cups of almonds, 6 cups of filtered water, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I have my Vitamix blender here. You can use whatever blender you have at home. It's much easier if you're using a bigger size blender that you can fit the full recipe in versus one of the smaller bullets. So again, I'm just gonna take my 2 cups of almonds and put those in the blender. And then I'm gonna pour my 6 cups of water in. Now we're gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and just make sure at home, whatever vanilla you have, make sure there's nothing else in it. Look at the ingredients and make sure it's truly pure vanilla. You can also use vanilla bean if you have it, and you could scrape the inside out, but this will work as well. So 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and then we're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt or Himalayan pink salt. I'm using Himalayan salt today, whichever one you prefer, or you could skip it if you need to. Some people like to sweeten their almond milk with maple or dates or honey or something along those lines. I think it's perfect just the way it is. So see what you think, and you can always sweeten it on your own. So again, we just have our almonds, our water, our vanilla, and our salt. And I'm gonna hit start, and we're gonna bring this up to high speed for about a minute. Okay, so after you've blended your almond milk for about 1 to 2 minutes, depending on the type of blender you have, then we're gonna go ahead and take that lid off. You're gonna need a container of some type. I'm using just a clear food container here. You could use a mixing bowl or another blender pitcher if you had one. And then you're also gonna need a nut milk bag. So this is my nut milk bag. They're like $4 online. You can get them at grocery stores, online, things like that. You could also use a cheesecloth. This is just more convenient because you'll have a drawstring. So without the drawstring, you're just gonna have to make sure to keep that together at the top so that you don't get almond milk on the ceiling. So I'm gonna put my nut milk bag inside my container, and I'm gonna actually wrap it over the sides. You don't have to be able to do this. It's just a lot easier. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pour my almond milk in the nut milk bag or cheesecloth. And I'm gonna do all of it simply because I have a pretty big container. But depending on what you're using at home, you might have to do this in a couple of rounds. Either way will work just fine. So then I'm gonna take the top of my nut milk bag, and I'm gonna pull the drawstring, and then I'm always gonna keep this hand here, or at least one hand here the whole time, just to make sure that no almond milk comes out from the top. And as you can see, this is already starting to strain on its own, and all I'm doing is holding it here. Once this strains a little bit on its own, you're gonna have to use some pressure of your own hands. So make sure you wash your hands. I washed my hands before this video, I promised. And you're gonna go ahead and strain the almond milk. So this is simply just taking the fibers and the leftover almond pieces and filtering those out so that our almond milk is smooth and creamy by the time we're done. So you can see this coming through. And I'll show you, once we're done with this, I'll show you what's remaining, what we call almond pulp. And then in another video in the future, you'll actually get to see recipes to use your almond pulp. So if you're making almond milk with me today, don't throw away your almond pulp just yet. Put it in a container and go ahead and put it in the freezer. And then here in a few more videos, you'll get to pull that out and we'll use it for another recipe. Okay. So we still have it coming through. And again, if you can't do it all at once, like I'm doing, if you have a smaller container that you're using, then you'll just, wait until it's pretty dry and then you'll add more. But this should only take you about 1 or 2 minutes to go through. So once you get closer to the end, you might have to put even more pressure and really wring it out, just so you don't lose any of the milk. Stuff is precious. It's like gold. So this made a little over a liter, looks like. Worst case scenario, just in case any of you ever come across this, but if you're ever in a hurry, you could always just put the whole thing in the fridge and strain it later too. So if you're ever trying to make it before school or before work, you could always just throw the whole thing in the fridge and strain it when you got home that night. You could leave the pulp in the almond milk if you're only using it for smoothies. You wouldn't really notice a difference. But if you're using it for lattes or hot chocolate or anything like that, or soups, you're going to want to strain it. So there we have it. And I'm just going to toss this in here and try to open this up and show you what almond pulp looks like. So this is your more dried out almond pulp. And like I said, this is what you're going to want to keep for another recipe. So I'm just going to set this to the side for now. I'll actually put it in my bowl. And then what we're going to do with our milk is I like to keep it in a glass container with a sealed lid. If it's covered, it'll just stay good for longer. You should use a funnel, but I forgot mine. So we're going to see if I can do this without making a complete mess. I think we're doing it. Okay, so I have a little more, so I'm going to have to grab another milk container. But here's my first 32-ounce container. So as you can see, almond milk doesn't take too long. And just remember, just by changing this one thing in your day, you're taking out all of those preservatives that are on the side of that milk container. So now you have your almond milk without all of the preservatives and chemicals that are in your typical store-bought almond milk. So I hope that you use this to enjoy homemade lattes, smoothies, anything like that. If you keep watching our videos, you're going to learn lots of smoothie recipes. And again, like I said, we're going to come out with some almond pulp recipes, so we utilize that waste. But be sure to subscribe, comment below, let us know what you're looking for, any questions or anything like that, and we'll see you soon.